Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. Today is Monday, November the 6th, 2023, and we are back with another edition of News in Motion, a brand new month, a brand new week. How was everyone's weekend? Let us know what you did over the weekend. If you watched any sports, let us know if your favorite team won or if they came up just a little bit short in their matchup with whoever they were playing against. But tomorrow we have election day. So make sure that you go out and vote. Make sure that you are also registered to vote and check your polling locations. You can do that through ballotpedia.com. We will have the link in the chat for you so that way you can access it and check your locations for voting. This is important, especially for our people in Ohio. Be sure that you vote today or tomorrow. But please go out there and vote. Please encourage your family, your friends to vote. If you have any young people who are the age of 18 and up, they are able to vote as well. So please get them out to vote. It doesn't take long. The process is fairly simple, but please get out there and vote, people, please. But as we are getting ready to start a new week and, of course, a brand new episode of News and Motions, whether you are tuning in through Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, if you're an audio and podcast listener, thank you for turning your dials to NIM Today for your relevant commentary and call to action news. I see you, Miss Marion Jackson, tuning in through YouTube. Good morning, Miss Adrian, tuning in through YouTube as well. Good morning, Miss Deborah Johnson. Good morning, Miss Camille Jones. Good morning, Miss Jackie, who is also tuning in through YouTube. Good morning, Miss Yvonne Garner. Good morning, Miss Felicia. And Miss Adrian says, yes, be sure to go to the correct location in order for your vote to be counted correctly. Again, you can access that through Ballotpedia, and we will put that link in the chat. So, without further delay, y'all know what we do over here. Let's get ready for some news in motion.
Motion.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, listen, I'm sitting here. I was listening to Isaiah. Y'all know I'm like the proud auntie over here. Just his drive to vote and to get people out there to vote. And if you're not registered, to register to vote. Yes, I see you, Dr. Antoinette's in here, and also Deborah. I see you, Lori Wallace, as well. So good morning. I see Hester Jackson coming in here this morning as well. Y'all, it seems as if her speaking, we prayed for her last Thursday. It seemed like it was a phenomenal experience. So Hester, share with us what you're doing in that chat so we can continuously follow you. And I see my cousin Terry rolling up in here this morning as well. We have a lot of news. And we got to go. We got to have a class in session today too. So if you know people need some information, you just wanted to tell them, hey, come on in. Class is in session today. Hester said, yes, thank you all for your prayer. We were praying for you, sister. We were praying for you. The pictures were phenomenal as well. The pictures were absolutely phenomenal. Thank you, Isaiah. Yes, y'all, if you need to get a sample ballot, go to ballotpedia.org. Ballotpedia.org. Get that sample ballot. That's wherever you go, wherever you're voting, you can pull that, complete that. If you have not already voted early or sent in your absentee ballot, go to ballotpedia.org. Y'all was so proud yesterday. Even my daughter called me, Mom, what do I need to do? Where did you tell us to go to get that sample ballot? And I'm like, yes. So she's sharing that with all of her friends as well. Thank you, Dr. Antoinette. Sharing is caring, and it is. All right, y'all, we have class in session today. But first, let me give you a couple of headlines. And as we're going into there, I see my brother coming up in here as well. Good morning to you. And Regina Shorts, good morning to you as well. Y'all are rolling up in here. I love it. So y'all, welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And I really do hope it was full of excitement. I chilled basically, and then I cooked for my parents. This is my week to cook for my parents. So I was doing that. So here's my question for today. Did anyone try something new or check something off of their bucket list over the weekend? I'm trying to come up with some unique questions to ask instead of just saying, "How was your weekend?" So please share if you had some amazing adventure, some newfound, whatever it is you're doing, a new book you're reading, whatever it is, please, please, please put it in there. So share your inspiring stories with us today. I see you, Davia. Good morning to you, sis. And Kim Edmondson, good morning to you. All right, y'all, class is in session. Let me give you a quick headlines before we get there because we got a serious issue. We got to deal with this. All right, y'all, real quick. Reuters reporting that Ukraine Air Force said it had shot down 24 of 40 drones and missiles Russia launched early on Friday, which hit infrastructure as well as houses and commercial buildings. So that was happening this weekend. CNBC reports, and I'm sure you probably heard this by now, but in case you haven't, the U.S. economy saw job creation decelerate in October, confirming persistent expectations for a slowdown and possibly taking some heat off of the Federal Reserve in its fight against inflation. Yeah. They said the payroll increased by 150,000 for the month. The Labor Department reported Friday against Dow Jones consensus forecast for a rise of 170,000. The United Auto Workers strikes, as y'all know, primarily responsible for the gap as the impasse met a net loss of jobs for the manufacturing industry. So that's some stuff there. I see you, Shardini. I see you. And y'all, there's a probe, and all this is about to connect because we're going to go into class in session. So hang with me, hang with me, hang with me. Y'all, The Hill, Politico, and others are reporting the FBI conducted a raid of the house of the New York Mayor Eric Adams' top campaign organizer Thursday. And this was as part of a broader investigation into the mayor's campaign finances. Now, the mayor himself is not being implicated, and no charges have been brought against any individuals, but there was a raid. All right, y'all. The raid came at the Brooklyn home of the 25-year-old Brianna Scuggs. Now, pinning it. Yes, I believe a 25-year-old can be a director of a campaign finance. I do. But we're talking New York City. We're talking billions, okay? And we're talking years of experience. So I just want to throw that out there. But they say she's a whip at what as how she pulled everything together. But there's still, hold on, I'm getting there in a moment. Now, the FBI confiscated boxes of files, several computers, and phones. Now, the warrant suggests that Eric Adams' campaign has received illegal contributions from foreign nationals using so-called what they call straw donors, where illegal donations were funneled through legitimate supporters. So, Turkey linked construction firm KSK was a part of it. And 11 KSK employees donated a total of nearly 14,000 in May of 2021 to the Adams campaign. So a lot of that is unfolding. All right, Kim, you know where I'm headed. We got to connect some dots. Isn't this interesting that this happened while George Santos, with 8 or 9 other aliases, was before Congress, the House, trying to not be expelled? Wasn't his campaign director indicted for something? Y'all cannot disconnect the dots. Connect those dots. Why did this happen while he is on Twitter with the crown on his head saying, "If you come for me, don't miss"? Yeah, he sent that tweet after they didn't expel him. Connect those dots. But hold on, I gotta keep going. Y'all better get ready for a ride today. All right, so in an unusual move, this has never happened. There's never been a record of this ever, 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 ever happening. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds is set. She's ready to endorse and already put out a floating announcement. Ron DeSantis over the former guy for president. Y'all know I was huge. Okay, so make that make sense. So what's really happening here? Yeah, this is an highly unusual move, and this is coming first reported from the Washington Post for Iowa governor to endorse a candidate contested in a Republican presidential primary. It's never happened ever. And so she came out and did that. I'm like, well, what's really going on? Uh yeah, Adrian, yeah. So y'all, then I'm sure you heard all the news yesterday, and it's a pretty big poll. It is. So New York Times reporting, the headline reads, Trump leads in 5 critical states as voters blast Biden. Now this is in the Times and Siena poll. Yeah, that poll's huge. Okay, it's huge. So here was their quote. Y'all better get ready for this because we can dive deep today. Voters in battleground states, now I'm giving the direct quote because I don't want to mess anything up, say that they trusted, this just makes me ill, but let's listen. They trusted Donald J. Trump over President Biden on economy, foreign policy, and immigration. Say what? As President Biden's multiracial base shows signs of fraying, and I'm telling y'all, it is falling apart. It is unraveling as I am on this broadcast live at 7:25 a.m. Eastern time. Hold on, I'm gonna keep reading. President Biden is trailing Donald J. Trump, and I'm using his name because it's a direct quote, in 5 of the 6 most important battleground states 1 year before the 2024 election. That has never been heard of. Ever, ever, ever. You've never heard that being a year before. Never. Okay. And then they're talking about it that the Biden campaign is suffering doubts about his age, the deep dissatisfaction over the handling of the economy, and the host of other issues. Now, this is all coming from the poll. Now, they didn't poll me, but hold on, I'll get there in a minute. Now, the results show that President Biden losing to former President Trump, his likeness Republican rival, by margins of 4 to 10 percentage points among registered voters in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. Those are the 5. Now, right now, Biden is only ahead, and only by 2 points, in Wisconsin. Now, the demographic group that backed President Biden by landslide margins in 2020 are far more closely contested, as 2/3 of the electorate sees the country moving in the wrong direction. Everybody breathe in, breathe out, because I'm not done yet. Now, voters under 30 favor President Biden by only 1 single percentage point. And his lead among Hispanic voters is down to single digits, and his advantage in urban areas is half of Donald Trump's. All right, everybody breathe in, breathe out. This is the part that has me rattled. And I said, oh, we got to have a class today. Black voters. Yeah. Those who consider themselves mostly Democrats, and for Mr. Biden, are beginning to back away. Now, they're now registering at 22% support in the states that I mentioned, the 5 states. Again, that's Nevada, Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Now, I kept reading and I'm like, what is really going on here and why? Now, first of all, the 22%, I need to share with you all that 22% is from a small minority within these states. So you got whatever your number is and your 22%. I'm going to put the link in here so you can see all the graphs for yourself. Now, you got to be able to want to read, okay? So I said, we got to have some critical thinking. So I want to start by saying a couple of things. Number one, and I'm going to put, I did this like this morning because I had to make it make sense. I put together a scale, And it's going to be in the e-newsletter, the Friday Rundown. So if you haven't signed up for the Friday Rundown, it's free. Go to gaildudley.com and sign up, and you'll get it, and you'll get this PDF. So I want you to consider a bar. I just want you to consider a bar. Okay, class is in session if you didn't know. I want you to consider a bar. And on the far right, you have super conservative. So imagine that. And if you got to get out a piece of paper, I was trying to figure out how to do whiteboard on here, and I don't know how to do it. And Isaiah and I was like, we're not going to do it today. So imagine a bar. So get a piece of paper, write a bar. On the far right, you have what we call super conservatives. On the far left, let's say you have extreme liberals, okay? Super conservatives, extreme liberals. Put yourself in the middle of that bar, like make a stick figure, whatever. Above your head, I want you to write. I was like, somebody needs to hire me, Dr. Antoinette. I don't know why they're not hiring me, because I can really make this work. So on top of your head, put GOP, whether you are or not, Democrat, again, whether you are or not, Libertarian, or Independent. So put those 4 up there. Now, here's how we should all vote, okay? Seriously, forget the down ballot. Again, I've done it for 2 years straight because we needed to some degree, okay? But I want us to mature. I want us to mature. So let's say you have fiscal responsibility and federal rates. Well, if I'm in the middle, and I'm using me as the example, this is my real belief. Since I consider myself a moderate, I can go somewhat to the right with conservative with fiscal responsibility, the Fed rates. So on that particular item, I can go somewhat right. Not extreme, not super, but I can lean right on that. Then we have human rights. I'm all the way over here on the progressive side of that. Then we have women's rights. I'm way over there on the progressive side with that. Then we have immigration. I can vacillate back and forth depending upon what we're talking about and depending upon the measure and the conversation. Foreign policy, same thing. Climate, for me, same thing. Education, somewhat the same thing. Infrastructure, I'm probably more to the left. Healthcare, I'm more to the left. Medicare and Medicaid, I'm more to the left. And that's just a few of the ones. But when you get this in the e-newsletter on Friday, I'm gonna have all the 12 appropriation bills. I'm gonna have everything included in that. So so critical thinking, when I saw this information, I said, man, I just need some grant money so I can go out here and do some education, because people need to be educated. So let's critically break this down, okay? Thank you, Kim Edmondson. She said, break it down, Gail. I love this. Okay, let's go here. So critical thinking with the information I just shared with you. Y'all, class is in session. Forget the headlines. This is more important than some headlines, okay? Content and historical trends. So again, I'm focused on these 22 percentage points that have raised up from Black and brown people supporting the dude that has 91 indictments. Okay, I'm not making sense. How are y'all trusting this man? I'm not understanding, but critical thinking could help us get there. So I have a few questions under context and historical trends. The first question I put on my paper is, how do these polls result compared to previous elections and the level of support for Democrat candidates among Black voters in the past? Well, when I went and pulled these polls, I went back to, I think it was 1984 is how far back. I went back to the 80s. Well, we weren't all taking the polls. Why? Because the computers weren't really able to do what they can do now. And if we received mail at our homes, we didn't put a stamp on it and send it back. We threw it away. So can we really count 3 decades, 4 decades back? Can we really count that 5 decades back? Well, that's a question. So then the next question I had was, what might explain the change in support for President Biden among Black voters in these states? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I got some stuff to tell you. This just came from the White House this morning. And y'all know it's from the White House because it has the White House on top of it. It has their emblem. So it talks about a fact sheet. And it talks about how House Republicans are turning their backs on their communities, both urban and rural, and undermining American infrastructure with the appropriation bills that guts funding for who? For Amtrak, for education, for health care, for Medicaid and Medicare. Yet these different programs, social programs are being cut. So they want to severely reduce services by $1 billion. This is Mike Johnson. They want to cut transit programs across the country with an 85% cut to the Capital Investment Grant Program. They fail to make critical investments in improving where the inner cities. They want to cut aviation. They want to They want to do 20,000 fewer homes per community. Per community. Somebody say per community. They want to cut 20,000 fewer affordable homes being constructed, rehabbed, or purchased. Well, if you are coming in the neighborhoods and turning them around and making them $500,000 to $1 million, and you're pushing people out into other communities, where are they going? If you're cutting homes, affordable homes, where the people gonna go? See, and here's the problem, and I believe this with everything before I go there. They want to put 78,000 children, 78,000 78,000 children at greater risk of lead exposure due to the recession of over 564 million for programs that mitigate housing related risk of lead poisoning and other illnesses. Didn't we just go through this in Michigan? So how are we going back here again? What make it make some sense for me, please? So here's the thing that I was saying, and I'm saying this not in a boastful way. I think a lot of voters, that's why I need some grant money so I can go around and to have these conversations. I want to have my own town hall meetings. Okay. We've been talking about this for a while now. So now it's time to make it happen. I don't know where the money gonna come from, but we have to go do these things. And the reason is no, where are they getting the information I share with you all like this from the White House? Who's reporting it? Except News in Motion. So no one really knows what's happening. They only know the narrative and the spin that the national media is sharing. Well, there's more to this. So you're ending up at a place not understanding what's really going on. That's all I can come to. So let me keep going. Cultural and identity factors. Here's a couple questions. Are there specific cultural, social, or identity related factors that might have influenced some Black voters to support Donald Trump in these states? Again, specific cultural, social, or identity related factors. And the reason I pulled those three things out, I said, okay, what's the social construct? What are the identity factors? How are people identifying? Like there's so much news on the Kia boys and then people stealing Kias that has taken the news when it comes to the Black and brown community because they're everywhere. The snatch and grab, the stores that are there, people are going in and they're got on ski mask and they're taking all this merchandise and running out the store. There's a highlight on that. But what about the highlight on Black and brown people, educated people, Black and brown people who are advocates and movers and shakers? What about those individual people? And did we take polls from those? Did they get the survey? I didn't get one. No one asked me any questions, so I don't know how they come up with those numbers. Okay. Next question. How might the candidates' messages? Hello. I've been talking about messages. And that's why I put this in here, because I'm thinking about this election for tomorrow. And I'm like, these messages are all over the place. Where's your succinct message? Please, can we get a message? And can everybody get behind that message? Who's going to write it? Is it Hakeem Jeffries? Then please write it and we all follow him. Is it Nancy Pelosi? Is it, who is it? Is it Barack Obama? Because he sure is coming out lately swinging. So whose message are we going to get behind? And can we just get one message so that we can all get behind that message? So I talk about messages and policies that resonate with Black community, with the Black community. Who's that Black leader that's making these marks and being able? I thought Jamal Bryant was getting there. Maybe he's still out there. I don't know. I don't know. So then I thought about the economic and policy concerns. And I said, well, what are the particular economic or policy concerns within the Black community that might have led to the shift? Like what is it? Then we have Cornel West out there, and he has a different message. And then we have Joe Manchin, he has a different message. And now we have Homeboy that's come out of the Senate and was like, look, I'm getting ready to run for president. He has a different message. But here it is. Hear this. The young people are getting behind him, and I can't think of his name. He's out of Missouri. They're getting behind him like crazy. And he is funding his own campaign by the millions. And so I said, well, there's a primary. If he rises to the top over Biden, we all, whoever. Now, you got Trump or you have somebody else. We got to think of Dean Phillips. Thank you, Yvonne Gardner. Dean Phillips. I can see his face. I couldn't think of his name. We have him out there. So what is really happening? Let's be honest, people. Let's be honest. And we have a majority. We have a majority Black and brown community. So I'm gonna say this. Here's the challenge. They're looking at Joe's age. Not that he can't do the job. They're saying if he dies, we're gonna have a Black woman. Can America handle a Black woman? Come on, let's just be honest. Let's be truthful. That's what people are concerned about. Get over yourselves. Get over yourselves. Like, come on, we got to stop hating on each other. I don't know when we're going to get through this, but we do. So then we have age and gender disparities. Let's talk about it. How do age and gender play a role in the differences in support for Biden and Trump? Well, first of all, they both old. Okay. So why that's an issue? And that's actually was on the survey. Okay. I'm like, what is it? 5 years difference, even if they're 5 years different in age. I don't even know. I don't know. And then are there general or gender specific factors that should be considered? Now, why are we even considering these things? Okay. Next, I thought about the media influencing and what again? Messaging. What role? When you think about the national and international news media, what role are they playing? What's the message? What are the highlights? And how can we, as everyday consumers who pay for this, you pay for it through whatever streaming platform, cable platform you're on. Yes, you pay for news. You do. Okay. So you pay for it. So maybe writing into your news media sources saying, look, I'm paying for your people to be on air, and I want you to give us some different news. Seriously, stop highlighting the same, almost said the S word, the same stuff over and over and over again. Okay. So then, how might differing narratives, like what's the narrative that we're trying to put out here? The message, again, the message has to be the same. Community engagement. Let's go here. That's why I'm like, I prayed this morning. I did. I said, God, send somebody who's like, okay, Gail, we're going to send you through a 501c3, like Making a Difference with Al Edmondson, and we're going to give y'all a bunch of money to go out here and do these town hall meetings and have these conversations with people so we can educate people. So I can go in the room and pull out the hundreds of fact sheets that I get from the White House and say, yo, this is what's really happening. Whatever they're telling you, they're only giving you a piece of the story, or they don't want you to know the story. But if you follow News in Motion, we're going to give you the 411, the 911, the 111, whatever you want to call it, because this news is important. Okay. So then we have we gotta be cautious in our interpretation, because I thought about that. I said, okay, let me get out the hat of being in the middle. Let me get out the hat of when I'm over here on the left. Let me get out the hat when I'm over here on the right. And let me think about interpretation as a whole. So I said, how should we interpret these poll results? How should we interpret these things? Well, one thing, everybody wasn't polled. That's how you can interpret it. Number two, so we're pushing this out. And this is a significant poll, by the way. We're pushing this narrative out here. So people are going to begin to back away. Y'all know what we do. We're going to think, oh, Biden can't do it. So what we going to do, people? What are we going to do? We need to educate. Now, we have the election tomorrow, and hopefully, if you have not already voted, you are a registered voter, you get out to vote tomorrow. because local voting is just as important as the general election. I've been saying that here on News in Motion from day one. It is not less than, it is equal to, if not more significant than the general election. That's where a lot of policies are written, y'all, in the local government. Okay. You've heard them talk about state and state. There's a reason they're doing that, because they're sending stuff back to the state. So we have to get out and vote. All right. So the narrative. So then I also have on here, what other factors beyond this poll should be considered when assessing the overall political situation? Well, I know one. He's currently in court for fraud. They took money for a charity that wasn't a charity. Um, yeah, there's just a lot. 91. I can give you 91 reasons. 91. Hello, somebody. I can give you 91. Okay. Mobilizing voter turnout. What strategies do we need to put into place? And how might voter turnout efforts impact final results? We've seen this in play. 2020, we saw it. 2022, we saw it. Those of us in Ohio, we were able to witness it. August the 8th, 2023. Okay? It makes a difference. Long-term implications, and then policy priorities versus candidate popularity. Y'all get over yourselves with this candidate popularity. Who can do the job? Who can do the job? Do you really want to live 4 more years? Like, do I need to go get a visa and get out of here? Can I get out of here if I'm ready to get out of here, or if I want to get out of here? I'm just saying what I'm saying. Now, y'all, in this article, now I want y'all to hear this. And I went and looked, and I said, this is some crazy stuff right here. Both President Biden and former President Trump are both deeply unpopular. They ain't even like them. So we are having a poll with two people that nobody likes, or very few people, if you're polling people, liked. So the people who didn't like them were the ones who made the decision as to who was ahead in these 5 states. Are you kidding me? Why did you even put a poll out here? Why did you even write this if these people who voted didn't like either one of them? That's a problem with the poll, don't you think? Yes, a significant poll, but there's a problem there. Yeah, there's a problem there. And so they interviewed Spencer Weiss, who's a 53-year-old electrical substation specialist in Pennsylvania. And this is what he said. I quote, "The world is falling apart under Biden." Really? That's what he said. Then he said, "I would much rather see somebody that I feel can be a positive role model leader for the country." But he didn't think either of the two of them were that person. But then he says this in the end of his quote. He's 53 years old. Electrical substation specialist. I would say he's pretty bright. He says in the end of his quote, "But at least I think Trump has his wits about him." What? And y'all put that in the paper as to back up the millennials, although 53, he's not a millennial. Y'all, this is what we're dealing with. And this is what we will be facing going into January 2024, heading up to the primaries, and then going to the general election. Yeah, this is what we have. So I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna find a way to get this in the chat so y'all can read all this for yourself. And I want you to please take your time through this. And sorry, Isaiah, I should have sent this to you. I think I have it in here. Take your time through this. Open up all the charts and graphs and everything. I now have it out there. All right, y'all, changing gears just a little bit. Y'all, that's a lot. We got to think about a lot. Changing gears just a little bit, y'all. Desmond Mills Jr., one of the 5 former Memphis police officers charged in connection with the brutal beating and the death of Mr. Tyree Nichols, pled guilty in the case. He is the first one who to plead guilty. Y'all, ESPN reports that today starts the 2023-24 basketball regular season of the men's season. I don't know why they didn't say the women's too, but it does that as well. Y'all, it just feels weird to go from what I just went to this. This doesn't make any sense. I gotta go back because we gotta talk about this. I know these are on my notes, and the people, the team was like, "You gotta put this out here." I don't care. We need to go back to this because the seriousness of that poll. We need to educate everyone in our family. We need to share information. We need to stop being so selfish and thinking, oh, we don't want this person to have a platform, so we're not going to share his or her information. Listen, find you a trusted source, share that information because the regular news isn't giving you what digital platforms are giving you. I told you all about Jessica Yellen's News Not Noise. That's another one. Um, Chris Cuomo on News Nation, another one. Uh, I'm sorry, Gail Dudley on News in Motion, another one. There's not many of us, but there's enough of us that you can find that trusted source to get this type of information. Y'all, this is serious. This is serious. I'm gonna say it's serious as life and death. Okay, it's serious. It's so serious, and this is not to incite fear or anything like that. But my husband and I, we were talking. We were like, "Wow, we would be married 35 years, yada yada." And that's like the general election. And he said, "Where we going?" I said, "Nowhere. I want to stay right here at home." And he said, "Why?" I said, "That's like right after the election. I don't know. I don't know." And it's not fear. It's what is we saw what happened in 2020. So what's going to happen in 2024? We saw what happened in 20 January 6th, 2021. What's going to happen January 6th, 2025? And I will be talking about the 2025 project. Yeah. I have not put it out here yet because I wanted to get a understanding myself. So I've been reading it and researching it for the past maybe 5 or 6 weeks. I'm not quite ready to put it out here today or this week, maybe next week. But you can get ahead on me and go to just Google 2025 project. You're going to like fall back in your seat. So make sure you're sitting down when you're reading it. And I thought, okay, they brought this around after the 1619 project. They're going to make the 2025 project a political project where it'll just be one party. Yeah, I said it. Y'all might want to read that. And it's not a conspiracy, it's a real project. It's a real project. It's called the 2025 project. Look that up. All right, y'all, for the inspirational message, I just really want to encourage you today. And the reason I want to encourage you because there's so much stuff coming at us from different directions, one after another. So I'm encouraging you to find you a circle of friends who can uplift you, who can support you, who can speak life to you, who will check on you. Find those people, find those individual people. Yes, Jackie, it's called the 2025 Project. Yeah, it is. I'm telling you, when y'all Google it, just take a deep breath. And that's why it's taken me so long to be able to report on it. I'm still going through it. And I'm not ready this week. I may not even be ready next week. It may take me till January to do the report on that because I want to make sure I have all the information correctly. I want to make sure I have all the facts. And I've been emailing people in the GOP asking them, can you give me a little bit more? And I noticed that I got one email back said, how'd you know about that? Well, because I know about it. And the fact that they asked the question was very concerning for me. Why do you care if I know about it? Don't you want us to know about it? Well, the answer is no, they don't. Not at all. Mm-mm. So encourage yourself, take care of yourself, speak life to yourself. Regina says the news today is for entertainment and dumbing down society, not for awareness. That's sad, but that's true. Good morning, Kim Neal. Um, so yeah, take care of yourself, y'all. Take care of yourself. So this week we're going to be somewhat heavy. We're going to be somewhat heavy. We have more reports coming. So come with your paper and pen, your laptop. We're going to take notes. And then I'm asking everyone to go and share the notes with someone else. Please do your due diligence. Also, we're going to vote tomorrow. There's an image that I didn't know if I wanted to pop it up or not, but I am going to ask Isaiah to pop it up. There is a vote image that's coming up. I want everyone to vote. Use your voice. Together we rise. Do your part. That's a pretty radical image, but I said I'm going for it because I like it. So that's the image that we're putting out there. We want you to vote, y'all. We got to take a stand. Yvonne says she's working the polls tomorrow. Good. You're welcome, Kim. You're welcome. So that's our show for today. Keep moving. Do your part. Be bold, and remember, live your life in abundance. We're out.
News in motion.